Hello guys, it's Velro, and here we are, the last Call of Duty World War II event in the first year cycle for the game. And after playing with the last main additions to the game for about a week or so, I feel like now we can begin to talk about what Call of Duty World War II did right this year, and some of the things that they didn't do right. Now, before I get into this, I should make a mention that this is just my opinion. In my general playthrough, I've reached Master Prestige, I've gotten Chrome Camo, I've only played the base game, I haven't paid for any of the DLC, so this is just coming from a somewhat casual point of view. But, with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the comments. Now, to begin off, I feel like one of the things that Call of Duty World War II did right this year is the weapon balance. Now, before I start seeing pitchforks and torches, I should make a mention that the weapon balance has improved, not necessarily always been good. Now, while there are a few weapons still to this day that fall into overused or overpowered, for instance, the PPSH, the Lewis, the newly introduced VMG, I feel like I see such a wide variety in game with the amount of weapons that are being used. I commonly run into lobbies where I'll see a Vafa 28, or I'll see a Thompson, or an Orso, or an M1A1 carbine, or just weapons that you don't necessarily think are good. Even sawed-off shotguns I've seen more recently playing the game in Team Deathmatch. Now, that being said, they're not necessarily the best weapons, but I still do feel like the weapon balance has definitely reached a point to where it is beginning to be really good in this game. That's also not being said that I still do run into lobbies where it's nothing but LMG campers or PPSH tryhards. It's still there, but I don't feel like I run into it all the time, which is a good thing. Now, getting into the next topic, I feel like Call of Duty World War II did a great job with the addition of new basic trainings and new divisions being added into the game. Just stuff like Wanderlust and Blitzkrieg have improved my experience, honestly, ever since they were brought into the game. Now, Wanderlust, of course, is not something that you would use, to play good with, because, as everybody knows, you get a new weapon every time you press the weapon switch button. I find that just really fun, not practical, but absolutely fun to just play with and enjoy. Now, Blitzkrieg, this is one of my crutch perks. I almost always use Blitzkrieg when I'm playing just normal, casual TDM, kill confirmed, whatever. But, for instance, New Division's Cavalry, it just kind of allows objective players to play consistently in game modes like Domination and War, because you can capture objectives faster, you can build war buildables faster, just everything that objective players like to see. Now, Commando, which is what I've been running all the time now, it just lets Slayers slay people. You get your 2 basic trainings, you get your faster health regen, and you get your extra ammo. It is absolutely amazing to play with Commando, which is what I'm playing with in this gameplay that you're watching in the background. And Resistance, the very first division they added, Resistance, it's annoying to play against, but it's absolutely fun to be annoying in the game. With your radar scrambler, I know I get freaked out whenever I see my radar start going fuzzy. It's just kind of a first moment, oh god, where are they at? And that's kind of good. It adds a little bit of unpredictability to the game, and I like it. Now, I know some people that don't, but I actually enjoy it. Now, another thing that I feel like is kind of good, and we'll go into the bad side of what Call of Duty World War II did this year, is weapon adjustment, which kind of goes with weapon balance, but it's a little bit of a separate topic. For instance, weapons like the MP40, the Bar, the Volkssturmgewehr, all of the 3-shot semi-autos have all been adjusted to just make them perform better in game, which is kind of what they were lacking when the game came out. For instance, the MP40, it kind of worked like the grease gun. Another weapon they adjusted well. It had some unpredictable recoil. It just bounced all over the place. But now it just has a consistent recoil pattern that you can learn. And I see people going back and forth between the MP40 and the PPSH. Weapons like the Bar, they have been nerfed to where now it's not in every game, but you still see the Bar, and it's still a decent weapon, but it's not the overpowered weapon it once was. Now, with that, we should probably go into what Call of Duty World War II did wrong, which also kind of falls into this category. For instance, the LMGs. That is all I really need to say. The LMGs, I feel like the damage ranges need to be fixed. They shouldn't have this ridiculous, like, 150 meter damage range of their initial damage and then like 100 and something meters to their next damage, which you're never going to reach in game. And that's kind of ridiculous, especially with weapons like the VMG and the Lewis, where they're always a 3-shot kill. Now, in hardcore, I also feel like they should have a 2-shot kill range somewhere on the map, whether it be at a long range like 50, 60, 75 meters. I still feel like the LMGs need some sort of 2-shot kill range, because as it stands in hardcore right now, you can just use an LMG and be okay. You never need to worry about getting hit markers unless you're shooting through a wall, which I feel like is just wrong. But that's just me. Now, going into the next topic, the lack of base maps and, well, somewhat lazy map design. I feel like 9 base maps, while adding a couple of niche maps and awkward maps, just seems not right. Well, I feel like I know all of the maps now, only having to learn 9 maps for the most part. I know, just playing, just in general, I know where the spawns are now. I learned them a little bit quicker because I didn't have as many maps, but 9 maps just doesn't seem like enough. I feel like if Sledgehammer added, for instance, just 1 more to make it 10 in the base game, so that way people saw that double-digit base game number, then maybe it would have been received a little bit better. But 9 just doesn't seem like enough. And I know that Sledgehammer really wanted to go for war mode. They wanted to make that like their competitive mode or whatever. And while I feel like war is really fun, and I appreciate that Sledgehammer wanted to have a competitive mode, I don't think it was put into the game as efficiently as it could have been. I feel like maybe if they added it in later on in the cycle and just kept the base game with like 10, 11, 12 maps instead of 9, I feel like war may have been accepted a little bit better and would have been used and played a lot more than it already is. But once again, that's just my opinion. I like the war mode, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like it. I just don't feel like it should have taken the place of the base maps that we got with the game. My opinion. Okay, going into the next topic. Just an overall lack of incentive to play the game for an extended period of time. Now this is coming from somebody who has now reached Master Prestige in game. I have reached Master Prestige level 155 now. I've gotten Chrome Camo. I've unlocked all of the DLC weapons that I feel like I would actually use. So, I mean, I don't have the Claymore, I don't have the 3-line rifle or the Delisle sniper rifle, but I don't feel like I would use those, to be honest. But just all of the DLC weapons that I want to use, I've gotten those. It just feels unnecessary now to play past the daily orders. Like, I find myself more and more just logging on for that daily bonus and then playing to complete those daily orders, and then I'll find myself trying to figure out what do I need next today. And most of the time it just results in me going to play a different game. Now, while I still enjoy this game, I really like playing this game, I just don't like that there isn't really any reason to keep playing the game. I'm not one to grind for level 1000. I really wasn't one to grind for chrome camo, but it's just, there's just a lack of stuff to do, not necessarily a lack of content, because there's so many DLC weapons to get, there's so many calling cards to get, and so many emblems and cool uniforms, but it doesn't feel like there's a reason to go get them. Like, you can reach Master Prestige 1000, but you're not really gaining anything for reaching it. Like, you're not getting any sort of advantage whatsoever. You can reach Social Rank 20 and max out that and get the verified name tag, but you're not really getting an advantage over anybody. I mean, the Flyboy 2 looks nice, but, like, there's no real reason to go for it. It just looks nice, which is okay. I like nice looking things, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not taking, like, full, what do you call it? I'm not appreciating it, maybe. I don't know. But I feel like also a lot of people on Reddit, for instance, feel the same way. So, with that, we're going to wrap this up. We're not going to rant on too long. Thank you guys for joining me in this commentary. Be sure to leave your opinions down below. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, or don't. It's not going to affect me. But either way, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.